Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Again, we're live from the United Soccer Coaches Convention in Philadelphia. And I am lucky enough right now to be joined by Coach Justin from Adams State up in Colorado. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I was just saying, I spent some family time out in Colorado recently. Beautiful part of the country, way colder than Bradenton, Florida, what I'm used to, but it was a good time.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Most might be a little bit colder than where you were, but
oh, geez. Well, I'm good back in Florida, not needing a heavy winter coat, heavy jacket, scarf, and everything else.
yeah, no, that's good.
But you can't beat the vistas and the views in Colorado, that's for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about Adams State. Let's maybe start with recruiting here. It's January. It's college showcase time. For you, are you looking at 24s? Are you still looking to wrap up your 23 class? What's kind of your cadence in the recruiting cycle?
Yeah, we'll wrap up 23 class probably within a month or so. Got a good amount of kids committed already between either fully signed or verbals, and then I'll start working on 24s. Towards probably March, April, we'll start knocking off some 24s. I already got a 24, not committed, but I already offered a 24. So got the class started, but pretty much try to get the guys that are on the board now, finish them off, finish the class off, and then start prepping for the 24s and 25s because I would be losing a good amount of kids next year. So to be very picky on who I want to bring in for the 24 class and just go from there.
Okay. Now, I know there's no such thing as an average week as a college soccer coach, but let's just say on average, how many inbound emails and texts and social media DMs and everything else do you think you get from prospective recruits on a normal basis?
I would say just even today, I've already been up to 14. So I'm also scheduled to go to ECNL next week in Florida, so that's the majority of them are kids giving me their schedules, but on an average day, I'll say probably between 20 to 40, between either agencies, recruits, other clubs trying to place players, or even parents and people asking like the process. So, my email gets blown up a lot, and I do forward majority of them over to my assistant to help out with some of that. So, I get blown up a lot. So this week was I have yet to respond to a single email since I've been here all week, which is probably not a good thing to be doing, but. I get a good amount every week.
But that's a great point. I mean, I've always told folks, if you don't get a reply, don't think it's because the coach doesn't like you or isn't interested. It's sometimes you're a coach, you're traveling, you're going to different venues, you're going to conferences, you're doing whatever, and it may be a week before you get to those replies and things you need to do, right?
Yeah. And I talked to a kid a couple days ago who he emailed before ECNL event down in Arizona, saw him play, got actually one of his club teammates committed, and then we talked the other day, and I told him I was like super sorry that I haven't responded back in a few weeks, but I've just been getting caught up with trying to get everybody that's emailed me on the board and who I can talk with and who I think is the ones that are going to sign quicker rather than some others. So like I told him, I was like, listen, I get blown up every day with emails from everything on the administration side to kids that want to come in, so I got to handle everything in a timely manner of what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now you mentioned ECNL events. What other kind of tournaments are on your must-see list?
So ECNL next week, hopefully in Florida. I'll be in Montreal at the end of the month. We have a kid from Montreal right now currently on the team, trying to get a few more of them signed, so I'll be up there with Yes We College. Actually getting hopefully a goalkeeper signed in a couple weeks from that showcase. So be in Montreal. Trying to go to Europe. I want to go to Spain in February to see a few players over there, and then Mayor's Cup, President's Cup, some local ones that are within the area. But a lot of the ECNLs, like Vegas for Mayor's Cup is one that I've never been to, and I want to go to it because why not be in Las Vegas for showcase? So been to a few, and we'll see which ones are available for us to attend.
Okay. What about camps? Do you guys have your own? Do you or your staff work other camps? How do they fit in?
Yeah, so we have We'll do our own ID camps, trying to, in the middle of, even though it's going to be super close, but trying to get one set up for March for an elite ID camp for spring. We're going to be doing a high school team camp towards the end of July. That will fall right into getting all my players in early, so that way they can get their 2 week of acclimation to our, we said at 8,000 feet. So they have to get acclimated to that. So we'll do a team camp. Obviously, kids camps. We'll do everything mostly with our women's staff and their program, so we kind of do all the combined minus like our ID camps and things. And then I'm a big exact sports guy, so I work exact sports camps as much as possible. Did 2 of them already this year, back to back. One in Salt Lake City, one was in Denver the next day, and then I'll do the 3-day ones in July. So we're usually out and about.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, when it's whether it's camps or any of these tournaments or anything, what's kind of your hierarchy of things that you're looking for in a player that would make you want to offer a player to Adams?
Athleticism is number one. You can't coach it, but if you're just purely an athlete, then there is some way that we will be able to work that into our program. And then after that, it's usually just technical side, the tactics, personality, how you are as a player. What do you do when you don't have the ball? What are you doing when you get a bad call? Like who you are. So kind of have like a 3-star process. 3 stars are like my top guys. The 2 are guys that are going to come off the bench, get good minutes. The 1s are kind of those ones I want to develop a little bit more. So I'll do majority of that when I'm out recruiting of 3, 2, 1. But yeah, big thing for me is just the personality. We got an unbelievable team, and I just want to get more guys that can fit right into just who we are as a program.
Okay. Now, you mentioned internationally trying to travel. Do you guys have a history or a big roster now of international players? That's something you're trying to develop. What makes you want to kind of look at the international side of things?
I've been very international heavy since I started coaching. I was lucky enough when I started coaching, I was at St. Bonaventure University for my very first coaching job as a volunteer. That's my hometown area, so obviously we're super close to Canada, so we actually had a lot of Canadian kids. But I've been just super international heavy ever since I started coaching, so I want to get as many international players over here because the experience that they go through can compare to some of the conferences and teams over here. And everybody kind of wants to have that American dream of going to school for 4 years and seeing America and doing everything. So we have 2 right now. We have Italian and a Canadian on the team. We have a Dutch kid coming in this weekend for spring semester, and then I got a few other international kids already signed, pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered, so they're ready to be coming in. So we got Sweden, Norway, Australia, and then hopefully some Canadians coming in. So,
okay. Well, one of the big, I guess, changes in the college landscape over the last few years is the explosion of the transfer portal. Is that something you guys explore at all?
I am on it every day. I was on it this morning when I woke up. I was on it a little bit ago. Actually met a guy who is doing stuff with the transfer portal to make it a little easier on us coaches. So yeah, I'm on that every day, searching to see who's in there, and guys that I think are at a good level that can come down and play some Division II soccer and help us out with this rebuilding year.
Okay. Well, as a parent, one of the first questions I always like to ask is, okay, what's this going to cost me? How big a check am I going to have to write? Now, I'm not holding you to any hard numbers here, but just can you give me an overall view of, cost for Adams State? How do the athletic scholarships fit in? Academic scholarships? What's an average player kind of looking at when it's all said and done?
Between 10 and 20.
Oh, wow.
So we do really well on the financial side. We have a lot of different options when it does come to the financial side. So obviously in-state kids, everything you're going to get. We're one of the cheaper schools in Colorado for in-state. New Mexico residents get kind of everything like half off. We have this thing called WUI, which is the Western Undergrad Exchange. So kids from pretty much all the western states like Arizona, Utah, California, things like that, they'll all get that, which is pretty much half the tuition. And then just normal out-of-state guys get automatically a $5,000 scholarship from the school, and that brings everything down to start off at $22,000, and then adding in academics and athletics, everything drops underneath 20. So big one that I'm pushing a majority of my guys right now to do is Scholarship Universe, which we have $5.6 million of scholarships within it, and that's open to everybody. So the more the merrier for scholarships to help out on all the costs. So we have our ways to work around things to make it as cheap as possible for everybody.
No, that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school itself. Folks may not be aware of Adams State, especially down near me in Florida, not knowing those Colorado schools. But, tell me some of the awesome things about Adams State we may not know just by clicking around the website.
Yeah, 3,500 students, so not too big, not too small. We're in a very isolated, located area in Alamosa. We have the National Sand Dune National Park, which is like 30, 40 minutes up north from us. So if everybody's ever seen massive hills of just sand, it's more likely where we are. You wake up and you have 14,000-foot mountains pretty much in your backyard. So you can't beat the views. And definitely Alamosa, we're very, very Hispanic area. So we're one of the most leading Hispanic institutions in the country. So we do well with, obviously, the Hispanics, first-generation kids. So we're big in that area. And everything's really right downtown. So you can walk from your dorm room to the pizzeria, and it's going to take you maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So everything, not saying the town's small, it's good size, but it's very spread out. Campus is very spread out, so it makes it feel big. And how I tell kids is you will make your time worth it depending on what you do. If you're going to be that kid that's going to sit there and play Xbox and not leave the room, you might not have so much fun. But if you're the guy that's like, hey, let's go out and do this, let's do that, then yeah, you're going to enjoy it. So when I was going through the interview process, my athletic director asked me why Adams State, and I said I think it's a hidden gem that nobody really knows about until the right people are there. I'm a big recruiter, so people know Adams State now, so where hopefully we can put us on the map here in the future.
No, that's great. Well, in terms of there's the soccer side, but then there's the academic side. So how do your student athletes really balance their commitments between the sport as well as the school, and what kind of support systems are in place there at the college to help them out?
Yeah, so I was one of the worst students when I was going through the college time. Everybody says you're a student athlete, and I was like, no, I was an athlete student. So I'm a big person when it comes to the academic side. I want to say I'm strict, but I asked all the guys to give me the class schedules, class times, where they're going to be, so that way we could just pop in and see who's there, who's not there. Guys got class and practice at the same time. They better be sitting in class because they don't need to be at practice. And then there's kind of, we're very strong in the academics, so guys know that the academics come first. And then we do have an athletic academic advisor that works actually within the athletic department, so I can walk out my office and go two offices down and sit with him, and he can help out with everything else when it comes to that side. And then we also have tutors, and actually a couple of my players are actually tutors, so try to get all of the guys that need that extra help to get in with them. We do study hall, so we do everything to make them get their degree. And how I tell them is we're going to run a program that's professional enough to where when you go into the big boy world, if you're not playing, then you already know, like, hey, I need to be here, I need to be there, and you can kind of lean on everything back from when you're playing under me. So very professional standards of that realm of show up to class, do the work, and graduate, and then you'll get the job.
I definitely appreciate that as a parent and as a fellow coach. I love that outlook on it. So in terms of, you mentioned kind of there may be times where class and practice, have conflicts or something like that, but can you walk me through, and again, I know there's no such thing as a typical week, but can you walk me through what an average week might look like during the season for a player? Like, when are classes, when is practice, when are meals, what's the game cadence look like if you're traveling, that sort of thing? Yeah,
so we play pretty much every Friday. Well, conference-wise, we play Friday, Sunday. So during a typical week, usually majority of our Mondays were our off days because we were just playing on Sundays. So guys will actually just go to class, rehab on Mondays. On Tuesday, like pretty much Tuesday through Thursday, classes start at 8 a.m. Depending on how many classes you're taking that semester, it would depend on how many you have on certain days. So I had some guys that were done at noon this year. I had guys that were going all the way until about 8 p.m. So it really just depends on what classes that you're in. Will depend on what the times are. So majority of the time in the fall, we will start training around 3 p.m. and I'll have everybody there minus maybe like one or two that will show up late from class. So typical day for them is just wake up, however many classes they have, they will go do that, start the rehab process in the afternoon. We'll train very intensely, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, lighten it up on Thursday, and do more of the tactic side of stuff, and then play on Fridays. And majority of our games right now are either 2 or 3 p.m. on Fridays. So if that is that, then guys will get excused right around 11:30 noon, so that way we can start getting all the field set up. They can do what they need to do in the rehab recovery area, and then we'll go talk about 5 minutes before warm up, and then go out there, warm up, and hopefully come out with a win.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the soccer side of things, and I guess it's more back to recruiting. But have you found that there's an ideal roster size that you're trying to hit each year?
Yeah. So obviously, when I got hired, kind of gave me an idea of what they want me to get. So, I'll do it. Been around that size before, so it's nothing that I'm not used to. I want to fill up all the lockers in our locker room as well. So it just gives me options to carry, first team, have a reserve squad as well. So that way the guys that I think maybe need a year or two to develop, they're still playing college games. They just might not be playing the ones that they want to be playing in. But that just gives them an opportunity to get acclimated to the college game, because it's a lot faster, stronger, physical than, coming from high school and club. But that also gives me the option to, if one of my guys gets injured and they need 3 or 4 weeks to recover, I can get them down to a reserve game and get them 90 minutes under their belt, or a good amount of minutes under their belt, to get that recovery process started. So, we carry the big rosters for a reason, and I look at back to the professional side of stuff. You look at pro teams, and they have obviously their first team, and then they have their U23s and 21s and things like that. So I just kind of lean back to all that of, we have both sides of it. So
yeah. Well, if you're you're carrying a larger roster size, I'm guessing maybe hopefully you have a little bit larger staff as well. So what does your staff look like? What role does everybody play there?
Well, right now it's just myself and my assistant. So there's only 2 of us. But I will be bringing on a volunteer here soon, I think. So my assistant right now, he was a goalkeeper, big-time goalkeeper. Still holds some records at where he played. So he'll work with the goalkeepers pretty much right off the bat, and then I'll obviously take all the field players, and we'll do what we want to do, and then we'll all come together at the end. So just try to pass off all of the half of that administration work to him. I'll do the things I need to as a head coach. We'll discuss practice plans and things like that usually in the morning. And then we'll just whatever makes it easier for both of us to get everything done throughout that week, we'll come up with a plan and do it usually that Monday, and kind of plan out for the rest of the week. So
okay. Well, how would you describe your coaching style, the team style of play, and that just overall culture of the team?
Yeah. So my coaching style, I'll say I'm very. Right when I step on the line, you can tell I'm very passionate about the game. So I won't say I'll get mad and upset to where I want to kick somebody. I'll get to the point where we do a lot of 2-3 touch majority of the time. If somebody takes more of what they're not supposed to do, I'll blow the whistle, and then we'll go sit down for 30 seconds to a minute and kind of be like, oh crap, I can't do that again. So very I would say strict on that type of stuff. But off the field, my door's wide open. Guys are sitting on my couch. We have soccer games on my TV. Sometimes I'll bring my Xbox in. We'll play FIFA. We do a lot of. I like to joke around. I like to have fun. So I'm very just easygoing when it comes to that. Style-wise, we went through a lot of different things this year. Obviously, my first year just getting there. A week before preseason started, just kind of messed around with some stuff. But I wouldn't say we're a possession-based team. We're just a very high-tempo passing team. So, like I said, 2-3 touch, try to move the ball quickly from side to side, get into good attacking areas, score some goals, and see what we can do after that.
All right. Well, here we are in January, and I'm guessing your players probably come back to school maybe Tuesday, or if they're not back yet. But what does your off season, your spring look like for the players? Yeah,
so guys will move in this weekend. We'll start classes on the 17th, and then we actually start training back up on the 17th. So I've been in the Division III world for a little bit, so I'm used to the 5 weeks. Only get one game, one play day. Now I get pretty much I get 8 hours a week until February 15th, and then I get to go back to be full hours, train every day for almost an hour and a half to however long I want to go, play up to 5 or 6 games. So off season, very developmental. We'll do a lot of just more development stuff, a lot of tactical things when we get back. We'll train early in the morning, so they're done with all that before they go to classes. 3 days in the weight room this year, so get them stronger, get them bigger, play a few good teams, hopefully, and just kind of start working on what I want to work on now to push it down into the fall. So that way when all the new guys come in the fall, everybody that's here right now can get them up to speed quickly, usually on day 1 or day 2 of preseason, so that way we don't have to work on all that stuff late to the season. We can get everything banged out right away, so that way we can just focus on the job at hand.
Okay. Well, Coach, you've been very generous with your time, and we've covered a lot of ground, and I always end these the same way, and that's what didn't we cover? What else would you like folks to know, whether it's about the college recruiting process, about Adams State, or about anything else? I'll leave you with the last word.
I'll definitely say there's always an opportunity out there for kids that want to play. A lot of the D1 bust mentality is, I think, slowly getting away. And I was one of those players. I was like, I want to go play D1, but I was like, you know what? I want to go play where I can play. So there's always an opportunity. There's going to be a school always recruiting somewhere. You just never know who that coach is and where they're going to be. I've seen coach. I've been that guy that's gone to high school games. I've been that coach that goes obviously to the big showcases. I've been the coach that signs kids from just film and not being able to see them actually play live. So many divisions out there, different areas. I'm sure people probably don't know the NCCAA. So there's other divisions that are not within NCAA or junior college or the NAIA that they can go play 4 years or 2 years of college soccer. So I'll definitely say there's an opportunity out there for everybody. Absolutely, couldn't agree more. As a former NCCAA coach, I can fully agree with that sentiment, and wish you the best of luck this upcoming season, and we'll keep track and see how you guys are doing. And if any of your events are in the Bradenton area, look me up and we'll grab a cup of coffee. Cool, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, thank you.